I don't even know what I'm doing, but I felt like it's a great time to get in front of a camera and share a little bit about me and my story while I enjoy this hot cocoa with black Hawaiian sea salt and some raw milk. I am very detailed about health. But lately I found myself in this terrible health rut that has me reminiscing about what my life was like before I became super ultra healthy, which is something I wouldn't describe myself as, but I notice it's how people would view me. How I would describe myself is fundamentally healthy. I spent so much of my life trying to get down to the bottom of understanding what is health. What is health? Start with. Because for sure it's not just nutrition, for sure it's not just movement, for sure it's not just behavior. I'm gonna take my time because I ain't got nothing but time today. That's a lie. I have a lot of things to do, but for this hour I finished all my to-do list, so I'm here and I'm sharing space and I'm sharing myself, and hopefully I don't ultra regret this. I'm sure I won't. Sometimes I can be so perfectionistic and struggle to put things out into the world, even though I know they're worth sharing. But I decided I'm just gonna fucking show up today. Yeah. Still wearing a shirt I went to sleep in. Big chillin'. So, what got me in this terrible health rut, which really, spoilers, it's really just, I have like a major bacterial overgrowth in my gut, like candida type. Basically from drinking raw milk with unpasteurized, so raw orange juice, almost at the same time, because I was in such a rush that morning to get the kids ready and make breakfast, and I was like, man, I haven't had orange juice in so long, I want to have some. And I had just finished a really big glass of raw milk, which I regularly have, and I'm totally fine all the time. If you don't know already, those pHs are completely opposite, so that shit curdled in my stomach. I literally threw up all day. Fucking liquid coming out of my ass all day and halfway into the next day. And I've been trying, and it's so crazy for me to say trying right now because it's not usually hard for me to do this. And what this is stay carnivore, or what I like to think is quantumly healthy, fundamentally healthy, right? Because I live in the Northeast, so there's not much crops out here right now. And if I were to eat quantumly nutritious, then I would not be able to eat many greens, fruits, berries, anything like that, and only meats and cheeses. So that's really what I keep to in the winter time. But it's been so hard, and that's how I know that all the signs are there for candida overgrowth. So I just started the fungicide yesterday, and it brings me back to remembering what is health. And it's such a beautiful thing because I was not raised spiritual, I was not raised religious, I wasn't really raised by anyone. I had to find my own way most of the time. I am number 7 out of 8 children in the family. Parents were never married. I could go on, but I want to talk about me. I don't want to talk about my family. I'm taking this time for me. I'm being a little selfish. Uh, I loved science, and science came really naturally to me. I loved physics, especially. That I say loved because of this little bit of pain in me still from diving deeper into what our education systems were grown upon. But anyways, I still love physics. I love studying the universe. I love understanding the rules that this life is played by. And yeah, I worked my ass off. I went to a really good university, and I had the chance to work in a quantum biology lab where we were making the cutting edge technologies that you see everywhere today, especially those having to do with light. Completely ripped my heart out of my chest when I learned what our technology was going to be used for when we had a little surprise visit from someone that represented the people who funded us. It just so happened to be a day where the projector wasn't working, and I just so happened to be sitting next to him, and I wasn't even leading any of the research at that point. I was still working with underneath the graduates, and I just struck up a conversation. He very clearly explained to me what that technology was going to be used for, and I just had such a visceral reaction. It even brings tears to my eyes now, still working on releasing that from my body. But it's something that I completely do not align with, and so I've thus left the education system as a whole and taken my learning into my own hands, which led me to Bitcoin, which is great. But yeah, in learning down to the very fundamental levels, like the quantum levels of human health, that we are truly microcosms. We are little universes. We are home to so many little bacteria, little bugs, everything. It's such a beautiful thing to think about each human on this earth, a walking god of their own planet, their own temple. So people call me super health crazy, but I just say I love my planet. I love and respect the terrain that I was gifted and that I have this chance to rule over in this lifetime. As was me. Form your own opinions, form your own judgments, enjoy your life, do whatever you want. I'm both sure of everything and I know nothing. And I think that's a beautiful place to be in this life. So yeah, what did I want to talk about? Yeah, my planet has been under attack by this terrible bacteria. And I just started the fungicide, so I've declared war. And I am feeling the effects of that massively. Because after all, what happens in our gut is the basis for what can happen in the brain. Right? We need all of those compounds to create the compounds up here to think, create, believe, trust, all of that. And since I've had these bad guys in there, I have just been craving carbs, candies, never feeling satiated. And of course, in the beginning, I was forcing myself through fasts, forcing myself on keto or carnivore which of course I understand that's what I needed to do to try and lessen that population. But then again, understanding the human body as a whole, understanding that I am the god of this world, and, you know, I allowed for that to happen. I welcomed the candida in for it to grow in the first place. And for me to, without a true declaration, begin a little bit of war, of course it fought back immediately. And that's why it got to this point where it's just inescapable. I could not ignore it anymore. And so the fungicide is necessary. And now what's happening is, you know, those little bacterias are dying at massive rates and starving. And so just like humans, we can think of the pain that comes from that and the aura of pain that comes from that. And so that's how I'm feeling today. I definitely needed this hot cocoa because I need to remember that life is necessary to contain death. Or maybe I said that backwards. Death is necessary for life to happen. And this is just part of the journey. But it especially puts me in this vulnerable point again, which I haven't felt for so long due to being fundamentally healthy, practicing all of the best simple things I can do to help myself. Walking outside, thinking good thoughts, drinking quality water, getting my minerals in, getting the sunlight, getting the free electrons from Earth's crust. And it really has me thinking a lot like how I would think back in early high school, middle school, when I couldn't figure out health. And I was in a really toxic environment. No matter what I did, it felt like it wasn't the right thing. It felt like I wasn't meant to be there. There was multiple times in my life when I tried to commit suicide. There was multiple times in my life when my environment told me directly that was the best option. I tear up because I'm so proud of myself for making it here and being able to speak like this. Because ever since I was little, I couldn't imagine myself graduating high school. Not because I wasn't smart. I graduated with a 100 GPA. But just because my environment had been telling me that I wasn't belonging there. And because of that environment, my planet, my terrain, echoed that same message to my brain. And so sure, logic got me here and survival skills. But through studying it all, I know it was also the God within us all, the major creator. It's the spirit in the heart that got me here as well. And I'm so grateful to be here and to share my story. And like I said, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just felt like this is a good place to start. I've never really made long-form content, and it's really nerve-wracking for me to think that people want to know more about me and learn from me in this format, because understanding myself, I know that the energy I carry is so precious, and I've had disciples, I had people who want to learn from me and all of this. But for me, this not in person sharing of energy is very different. But I hope the other carries it well. I like to take life slow these days. So this video might be terrible for you if you're not used to it. But I'm sure you can use your technology to speed it up or slow it down if you want. Yeah. I think it's so lovely to sit here and share my thoughts with the computer and with you beyond your computer. I hope that maybe some part of my story serves you in some way, you know. Maybe I should keep going. I don't even know where I am in this story. I can be anywhere, is the truth. So, yeah, since I've left the higher education space, it was really hard for me to get on my feet and realize where I belong in this world. And maybe I still don't know where I belong, but I know I'm right where I need to be. I've had my LLC since 2022, and that was a lifelong goal of mine, was to form my own company at a young age. Partly because I didn't think I'd live long, but now I know that I will live a very long life. And also partly because I knew that I wasn't someone who could really work for someone else. I've always believed in this concept of sovereignty and, you know, the basic human right of freedom. Maybe that's because I was raised without any rules. Or maybe it's because I was raised to not trust the government already. Or maybe it's because I seek the education, I seek the knowledge that showed me the path towards freedom. Either way, I'm super glad. And I love what I do. In the beginning, I was using my LLC to do like private coaching for kids because I just adore working with children. They are the joy of life. I used to go to people's houses with some gymnastics mats and teach gymnastics and like the fundamentals of tumbling. And then this is because I've been a professional gymnastics coach since I was 14. I had to pay for my own gymnastics if I wanted to still compete at that point, and yeah, I worked my ass off. My own gymnastics career ended because I injured my leg doing something stupid, and I actually had lost all the nerve endings in my right foot. Through using my quantum principles and fundamentals, I've thus regained all sensation, all mobility in the foot. So, yeah. Proof of work right there. You know, the doctors told me I would never be able to feel this foot again, and I would likely lose mobility in this entire foot. But big F you to you guys. Yeah, and then I became a certified personal trainer, certified nutrition coach right after that. And so I started working with adults, and that was kind of fun. Kind of not fun because a lot of the adults I coached were high level professionals, like really successful CEOs and physicians and surgeons, people with the biggest egos and basically just want to be babied, which is not my style. But it was a great learning experience. I still work with a few. That's where we're getting right now, where I am in life now. I was still gymnastics coaching at a club, and then a good client of mine that I always enjoyed our deeper conversations, especially around religion and spirituality. He called me one day, and I could feel the pain through the phone. I was so scared. He was asking me, Laurel, please, I will do anything for you to come and help nanny my family. And he has 5 children. His now ex-wife had just up and flew to a different country without a return date. And I felt immediately that this was a karmic calling for me. Because when I was still in elementary school, my mother left us. And it was really tough. It was really tough. And so I felt like this was my opportunity to not only heal my inner child, but to provide a service to the world that is priceless. You can probably think to your childhood now about all of the memories with your mother and before you were in high school, and I'm sure you can think of a ton. For me, for these kids, not many. And so yeah, for the last year and a half, that is what I've been doing, and I had to slow down my business. Instead of committing to like working with clients full time, I just kept a few in-person clients so I could take them before kids go to school and everything. And then I would do a lot of free classes in my community. We have this amazing grocery store cooperative where you can come and volunteer your hours to get discounts off of your grocery prices, which is amazing. So I'd volunteer my hours in the form of free coaching, which was very sporadic, as well as like free classes on what took me a lot of money and a lot of time to learn. So I've been very grateful to share those gifts with the world, in my local community at least. And the kids now are little health nuts. They're asking me for sardines for lunch. I can't believe it. A middle schooler asking for that because he wants to be healthy. He asked for the glass water. Like, he's like, Laurel, can I have a water bottle like yours? Like, I'm sorry, buddy, but this is like a $90 water bottle. You're gonna have to ask your daddy for that one. But it has been such a blessing and so heartwarming and so healing for me. Of course, my ego took a huge hit in the beginning because I was like, damn, like my lab professors were just waiting for me to graduate that year so they can offer me a PhD position, and I was getting just so many opportunities in the higher education and working with clients for my business, and realizing the attachments for all of those things really brought me to a deeper place of knowing myself and loving myself and breaking up with my ego, which, like I said, not easy in the beginning. There were so many days where I just felt torn, literally like torn just down the middle, and I chose my heart, and I couldn't be more happy that I did that, and I couldn't be more happy to share this and a little bit of my story about following my heart with everyone. I guess that's the theme of this, is how I began following my heart and how sickness reminds me of it. A lot of people that get to know me on a deeper level love to say this something, like, everybody, they're like, Laurel, you've lived so many lives. And I could not agree more. I just realized this is almost 30 minutes now, and that is just a tiny tip of my lifetime. And all of the things that have, all the experiences that have put me on the right path. But here I am, following my heart. Recently, I followed my heart to Costa Rica, a place that I've always had a calling for. And I finally had the opportunity to go. And I just went by myself, no plans at all. Just fucking went. I booked a place to stay for only one night out of the 10 nights I was there. And I had the most spectacular time. And not like that dissociative, crazy time, but a deeper, interconnected, grounding time. And so I've decided that I want to go. I want to leave New York, and I want to try out my life in Costa Rica. And so this chapter of my life is trying to do more of this. More of getting used to the camera, getting used to the computer, because to be very honest, I want to become a pro surfer, and I don't want to stop doing what I do. And what I do is share all of this knowledge that I've gained, and I help people find their limitlessness. I love saying that because I could not sum it up any other way. It was my childhood best friend who gave me the name Limitless Laurel just before in 2021, before I started my business. And, I just sat with her one day in the sun, and we were so exhausted, I don't even know why. And I was like, Ken, how would you describe me? Just one word. I want one word to describe me. And when she said limitless, it felt like my whole body shook. And I was like, yep, that's my word. And I've just gone with it ever since. And life has truly brought me down this most limitless, crazy path. And I can't wait to share more stories about the things I've done and the things I've seen and explored. But for now, yes, this is what I do. I love to share these really helpful bits of information that we should have been taught years ago, like in health class or by our parents. But for the majority of our teachers and parents' lives, this generation above us, they've lived in a constant state of fear and lack, and that really slowed the introduction of new research and science. And so I'm here to bridge that gap in a really loving and fun way. I like to talk, like, I can get super nerdy with you and talk all the crazy science, but we don't need that. My favorite is teaching to children, because their minds are still open enough to grasp these really outer world, deeper level concepts. And also it forces me to use really layman knowledge, or layman language, which helps me bring it to you. Someone who maybe never loved physics class, or never even took a physics class, or even a biology. I am here to bring those worlds together and to help you thrive, to help you live life free with sovereignty and love, passion, all the fun things. Always wearing blue light blocking glasses, of course, because you love yourself, you love your planet, you love your terrain. All right, I think I should end it here, because I could really just make this a whole tea time. I hope this served you. And, if you like it, definitely subscribe, because there's going to be more. I followed through on what I say I'm going to do. Unless I feel like it's not aligned anymore. We'll see. Pura vida.